muterevu nkwaniriza nnyo munange yakatwegatako ku STV era nga njagala kulamusaako nti wasuzeyo otya nno yonna gy'osinzira okuba ng'olaba STV. Olunaku olwaleero wabba lwakubiri ennaku z'omwezi 24 omwezi ogw'Ekumi omwaka 2020. Amaanyi nze Simon Chris Makanga era nga olunaku lwe tuba tuyingiddewo ne programu yo enganzi STV The Sharp Talk n'omukukunavu Joseph Tamale Mirundi mutabani wa Mole n'amatovu ne Yowana
Mirundi.
Yes.
Yowana Mirundi.
Yowana Mirundi.
Nabagamba nti mwagala
ngai. Nze bamita mu Mirundi.
Kyatawange Yowana Mirundi.
Lwaki minato gitumye Mirundi? Bonna iba Mirundi.
Anti-successful name.
Bonna
batuma abaana baabwe batuma ki? Once I stress Mirundi, why? I don't have a Christian name.
Ate Joseph.
Joseph is a nickname. Natoka mu P6, P7. Nibaga nti okola ebigezo, you must have a Christian name.
Nibakuwalya Joseph.
Nerwanira mu church nebafaze ekiko n'enfuluma.
Koza alikuwa myaka emeka.
I apologize, I came late purposely. I had a night prayer session in my church.
Church chevi. Now osaba.
I'm the chief priest in the saba mu church.
Ogambe ne abenkumye sabe.
I have my church. I was born 120 miles from Kampala. I went for consultations.
Mzee sikutegedde mwao. What prayer session? Night prayer session.
This is going to be a very different program. And I want to borrow 10 minutes to make a personal statement.
Please go on. Go on.
Decision making in politics is a whole chapter. When do you make a decision?
In politics.
A decision is determined by what you want to achieve. All decisions must be purposeful. A decision must put in a picture the past and the future. A decision must be determined by your past and the future. So when I make a decision, I consider all of these factors. Decision yange eri ku bintu bisatu. I went through 3 things this week. One of the rioters.
Okay.
Rioters, although I have many vehicles, I don't drive. I went to the driving school, learned driving, but I don't drive.
Why?
But on that day of the rioters, I don't know what possessed me. I drove myself from Kampala to my home.
120 kilometers?
Yes. Without security. And nobody knew. Naye what surprised me, bano abaana baali balina communication system.
Abaali bekalakazi.
Bw'oyita ku road block eno yaabwe communicating. My vehicle was never attacked. Ebya Museveni byennyini nga buli wetuuka bagaga okuba ba mafias. This is a lesson to the mafias. Nawulidde nanga ng'agamba when was the police caught unaware? And it's not your responsibility, it's the responsibility of intelligence. Buganda riot zabakwata punch down.
Wano mu Kampala abantu abajangako n'enjala eza yero.
Nkugambye nga bw'oyitawo oyina okuba emizira gya Bobi Wine.
Alaba basimuza ng'ebipande bya Bobi Wine.
They had a communication network. In some places, bajjanga ne twekubye bifaananyi. This is a biwenanga. Njamuga nti I deleted the vote. Nintuuka ewaffe. The most dreaded place was Nyendo. But because of their communication, bali bamaze okubabuulira nti emmotoka Mirundi yagirimu, amayinja gayimirira.
So it was a well-calculated demonstration all over the country.
Bano bwe babasaaga, bali abaana omanyi mbagamba, nayogera ku Bobi Wine. Naye mbaga nti Bobi Wine, a government, the presidency, is like a beautiful woman who works in a bar. Men of substitute and sense fear her until the border man who is aggressive floor her. Tebakitegeera. Bw'olabayo abalina amagezi mutwe abavuganya Museveni. obwa president bulinga mukaza mulungi akola mu bbaala abasajja
abalina amagezi bamudduka
bw'omukwana toddamu na kubeerawo ye wa bodaboda mukwata mu kiwato very aggressive this is a movement
alabamudduka bagamba
this is what I wrote about Bobi Wine. The president is like a beautiful woman
in a bar.
Men of sense read her. And they tell me,
ali aggressive.
Yes.
Naje na mutwala.
Yes. Tyson yakuba abantu bonna. Yamukuba yali anino. Yamukwata awedemu. Brazil yatwala World Cup emirundi emeka. Bajikuba kati. So the timing is important.
Tutandike?
No. Ekyokubiri, yesterday I was stuck in a jam. I was in my Mercedes Benz. Naye ababoda nga baagala kugisindika. Many government officials are in hiding. Otukubira ba mafia. Otukubira ba mafia. Is another verdict from the public. They had to hide your government vehicles. Which means if you hide a government vehicle, you are hiding yourself. What are you fearing?
That's a good observation.
Atembagamba. When a baby kicks a door open in the presence of a notorious village thief, he will not have come with a hammer. I think it is enough. If people like a Bobi Wine can shake the country, you will see your people. Antibategedde kinyenyezekaako
nenga kinyezekaako ng'abantu anamu bakamume kabamaze okufa.
Yes, throughout the country bali abaana bwe babadde bakola era police bayina zino sente ze baawasa bayiba district officers. The police must be equipped kubanga enfuna dakayani district bayina kabangali bbiri kakati bano abaana bookya wano na wano na wano. You can follow into an ambush. Kitegeeza kabangali zina gendera mu groups. In future, say muliko zibba. A single kabangali comes, clears the way. But in a begari amaduka magali, I found one shop open in Nyendo. Yali yamukyala nga atunda spare.
Ngamala kuna magali.
Yes. Matongo. Bajja ne bakiriyalinga ne bagenda. Tewali presence. Kayibula had this spread the police so these people can force you if you don't have money power. Ne badda mu group zendo kabangali ne bagikuba anti ejemu nekiriyalinga ekkuba negenda ewala bo ne baddawo ne babyoza. And these were new tires.
Gye baayokya
emipiira gyabadde mipya
gye baayisa mu makubo
nabagamba nti kitatta bwe baamukwata nti alina pisto ya Gaddafi ayirafuti nembaga nti if you find used condoms ku mufaliso gw'omwana wo ku mutto gw'omwana wo ow'emyaka 4 yaba azikozesa ku maama wo. Kitegeeza there is an intruder. You are lucky ti omukazi yabuliddwa kondomu wazitereka ng'oli agenzi. Who bought these new tires? Must be a rich man. New tires to ban.
So literally ogulinga agamba nti riot eno yabadde facilitated.
Yes. Kakati ekyokubiri the same week I was poisoned. I used expensive drugs and they are plotting to use chair poison. I know them.
You were poisoned?
I was
that
poisoned.
Is serious.
I survived on expensive drugs.
How did you get poisoned?
5 times. That's not a story. They can do anything. If somebody can behead a kid, basibeka dark. These are not human beings. These were bodyguards of Satan. They defected to us. When we are dealing with the humans, these are not human beings. Kakati, I survived on expensive drugs. Naye waliwo a senior police officer. Namuweereza message. Mugamba nti I've run out of drugs. We cannot allow you to die. He sent 10 million.
For your drugs?
We cannot allow you to do what?
To die. A police officer?
We cannot allow you to do what?
To die.
You are doing a very commendable job to this government. This is a verdict from a senior police officer who enforces law and order, and the same verdict from
who serves the government?
The so-called hooligans.
It means a lot.
The third one, I saw my reading tormentors being humbled. I was watching them on Sunday. Did I tell you? Nti mbadde ku byuma byange nenda ba meeting. Omusajja
omwali abakyala babiri.
Abakyala. Omusajja bamubba $20 million from his accounts abroad because he has limitations in travel. When I saw my tormentators being humbled,
it was
and
victory.
we are forced to write handwritten apologies for stealing this man.
It was victory for yourself.
Yes, I danced. I went back in my small local church. I have a big church in the village and I have a small. When you come to my home, they will tell you, "I'm church."
Osawa.
Nesawa, the neighbors.
It was a katumbo chali mulamu wa surviving zobutwa.
The Baganda have a proverb that if you follow somebody, you don't bite him. No, this is your freedom. This is your victory.
To you.
To me. Mbalabyeko nenda omusajja omugaggafu ge ng'abagamba you can even hire hitmen babatte ku ssente zange. I have copies of their handwritten apologies where they have surrendered their buildings. Nanyenye omutwe ne kajuga abantu. Let anybody undermine any of my programs on TV and radio. You will say mad money in Kamwenge. I'm capable of doing it.
Wow. Mzaitama katandikirawo.
Akati kambagambe mu ba mafia balaba. The pain that this rich man has gone through is what I've gone through for 8 years.
Wow.
Akitegedde ti human being reacted the same. Akati nkola resolution zange. One, they are talking about negotiations. No negotiations. A vanquished cannot dictate terms.
You can't negotiate.
They brought the Chinese recently, they brought the Canadians to jam my machines, they failed. They brought the Israelis, failed. They hired military intelligence agents to locate my machines, they failed. These are different machines. The report, I have a report from military intelligence agents. This man is connected to a satellite, a Russian satellite, which sends the images to Moscow and is the recipient. For 8 years they failed to get the machines. A victory, another victory against them. No negotiations. They are talking, you see the professor. Professor said, we underestimated this man.
Professor ali mukugula
Mwari. Professor alimba mafia bagita fellowship. Robbery is robbery, whatever name you give it. Abaganda bakugamba nti bamusumagisiza robbery. Bamuyigiriza Kampala robbery. So the title of an organization does not change. This is robbery. And robbery in government institutions, they don't spare anything. The Italian mafia has developed Italy to the 70s. These ones are crippling the country. So one, the professor said, this is the political career. Yes, this is diseased. To know kuzika, no kusiga. Okusiga means germination. Okuzika chitegeza dead. So what the professor is saying is that my political career is dead. Compensate me. They have agreed on compensation. That we should sit with him. No. A vanquished cannot dictate terms. Calculate my compensation adequately. Why I never work in this government again. As he says that my career is deceased, like Jesus, it will resurrect in another government. In the future.
Maybe that will by the way.
So,
your
compensation, I directed them where they should put the compensation. It is not a buy-off. Because a buy-off means I would stop, I would surrender my machines to them, that I should, they even offered me money to give the president false information.
Really?
Because they had captured all of the intelligence. How can I go and buy expired drugs to my sick father? From high, the mafia gang contains who is who in government. Very powerful people. At one time they resorted to Zoom. My mother body contains 1 million people. Any of those 1 million people who makes a meeting, it reports. It captures it automatically.
Really?
Yes. And I never surrender it to anybody because it was not bought using government money. Ask the president.
That's a big story to investigate.
Magoria resolutions.
How you got it.
Compensate me adequately because we shall never work together. Negotiations are completely out.
They know where to put the compensation.
They know where to put the compensation. Adequately. How much money have they used in
and you're not willing to surrender.
Happen. You see, public trust is like a virginity. You lose it once. Why do you think that this man who was abusing Museveni everywhere is now moving with a pistol? It means you are no longer useful to the president because the president was interested. Anybody would be. How can you? I'm a general with 50,000 rebels. You surrender alone? It means the war will continue. You leave. The air occupies the space. Kakati chichimu. They must compensate me unconditionally. 2, they must stop stealing. Let them transform, as the president advises them, transform your mafia gang into a think tank. But at times, transforming is not easy. It was done by Italian Communist Party.
How possible can it be done?
Gorbachev tried to reform the Communist Party, he failed. The Soviet Union collapsed. But in Italy, the largest Communist Party was in Italy. When communism collapsed, the Italian communists named their party Progressive and retained power.
Wow. Tamale
Kakati. 2, release all of the victims. Because their method is, once they know that they will be money in Rea, Umeme, other institutions, they hire Nakalem. They unleash their mercenary media. They admit. They use their media. But you did not have a convincing reason why you are fighting me. That's why, and more powerful and popular than all your newspapers combined. Why? I'm innocent. Can they give me a reason why they were attacking me? This is Jakabo. He's one of the people. The man is humiliated. Even press easy on his head. Vomit my man. If I want to destroy that Kaboy, let him try to undermine any of my programs. I hear they are trying to intimidate in Buga. Let that Kaboy continue his practice of intimidating people. I will release a creep, 2 creeps, which will destroy him completely. So release victims like a nursery, apologize to people like Rukwago, you humiliated to get him money. They humiliated Rukwago, put him using Aklo. They had captured all state institutions. So that's the second one. Finally, I want to tell you the professor is a professor of psychology.
Are they watching?
Yes. They follow me.
Okay.
Like a grasshoppers follow light.
Now you have
like a locust follow light.
That's how they follow you?
Yes.
Okay.
They follow me. Because now they're on my mercy. All of the technology is failed. I rape them like a naked woman. So
that's too much.
I rape them like a naked woman.
That's too much.
Don't struggle. Finally, professor wa psychology njagala mumubuulire. Nafuna incident nga tuyali baana bato nawe wakola ku zomba. Tutta obunyonyi. As if there was no me. Twakozesanga mipiira gyaki. Mipiira gy'eggaali emikadde. Kakati nga twakolanga butida. Kati bwe twasala mu mupiira ne tulekako ekitundu bwekiti nga kiwanvu mu ddiiro. I think oba twabulira maama nga ajja ne tudduka. Kakati when our mother came, twakozesanga tadova. We had no light at that time. Buganda yafiirwa leero line yali erina kuyita Masaka egende Kasese ne bagigamba mbu ab'Emmengo ne bagamba buli weyita ettaka liba infertile. Amasanyalaze ne bagaleetanga yo Mengo had invested in UEB naye nga gali mu senta zaabwe zokka ne balimba Abaganda mu amasanyalaze bagabeera mu nyumba abasajja batulizigwa Abaganda ne bagana amasanyalaze nga bo bagenda ku munakutadooba at independence omukolo ogwali Mengo dinner amasanyalaze gaavaako. Yes, at independence. Yes, at independence. Abemengo bakustinga oyo omulangira weekend. Naye amasanyalaze gaavaako bigaddako gasanga babba ennyama abantu bateeka ennyama mu makooti. Kakati maama waffe yali alowooza nti musota naye omusajja bamuyitanga Minani twakula naye yabeeranga nnyo mu town era eventually when he became old he was knocked by speeding lorry naye ne bakwata ne basasula sente bamuziika bulungi $3 million. Kakati mama waffe agamba Minani kuba omusota after 30 minutes namubuuza niye omusota gwokuba ogutafa kiki namugamba nti maama nkuba kipiira. Kakati the professor of psychology should understand and others who are watching me. All of the time they were hitting Mirundi, a human being. I'm not an ordinary human being.
You're something different.
I'm something different. Anybody who tries to fight me thinking that I'm ordinary human makes mistakes. This is Bakuba Chipira. This is a very powerful outfit. The Americans got a lot of information on Zoom. Because Zoom at night you could hear all the powerful people. They thought by developing Zoom that they usually the professor celebrated even when the Chinese came, the last ones who cheated them. We say this time we shall put missile under our feet. Let me ask you,
Ankubuza Chibuzo Mzee Tamale, in regards to missile, who do you report to?
Nowhere.
And how relevant is your information gy'ofuna ku missile?
Tebakankana kati bagambye bagenda mu YouTube. Aba YouTube ne babagamba mugende mufune court order. This is an American company. Ne bagenda bagifuna. Ne babagamba aba YouTube. Bayina $1 million. The only person who can order us to retrieve this information is Mirundi himself. Came back empty-handed.
Wow.
Bali be meeting you are lamenting. Yes, you used the book and you used an extended media. Ate bakoze ensobi ono omugagga bwe bamubbiye Dubai Kuala Lumpur Philippines Manila kakati ate bagagga banna balina sente basabye bank statements sai every account yavuddeko bank statement egirina mulinyeyo mulabe mulinyeyo mulabe mujjeko that's the demand kakati nkugamba nti they fight you cannot fight me. I'm not an ordinary person. The ordinary person you see on me, this is a human flesh.
But inside you're somebody.
I'm somebody else. Somebody wondered, this man is not one of the richest people. He does not own property. We have all of this money at our disposal.
What do you want?
How have you failed to you are like a Minani who was hitting HP. I'm not a human being. Done it from professor of psychology. Singati chibadde tradition yange nti sobola basinkana. We can only meet in a mass grave. We can only meet in a police cell, a prison cell. We can only meet on a flight, which I cannot forego. We can only meet on a road, at a road blow. Naligenje ne muganda kankwambuliremu engoye otegeere. You are not fighting a human being.
Wow.
So stop fighting me. Stop fighting me. If I hear anybody that koboyo since nkutuma nkubba since nabadde ngobba mukama wenga akuteka ko jango butu ku mutwe undermine me again, you will see a lunatic in Kamwing. Those are my resolutions.
Tandike neche nakunti ekinebaza katwanti wa survive nzobutwa.
I have survived 5 times kati babadde baze ku cheya poison tintule ku ntebe through the anus. What crime have I committed to you? If I'm wrong, if I'm a mad man, how come that you are reforming from stealing government money to, and when you don't transform and you take your abusuma to that new outfit of what a think tank, I will again demolish you.
Wow. kuyakatwega chako munangi kanyongera kwaniriza ku STV
no reconciliation no surrender.
Simon Christmas kanyera katandike neze mboze zabadde week ewedde onawo mutwana n'omukuku
n'obujozi bwa kalinzi
naye olunaku olwokusatu mukulu Robert Kyagulanyi Ssentamu era nga ye president wa NUP ekibiina ekito ekyasinza obutwano mu ggwanga yakwatibwa side ze yeeruuka mukuku navaagizaako kyogera ebyaddako kwali kwekalakaasa Uganda yonna kuba ebitundu bya Uganda ebisinga. Yes, wenjagala tutandikire Mzee Tamale. What is our take home from these riots?
Let me tell you.
And what did we learn?
There are 3 issues. Only 3 issues. One, Nakugandi Museveni is a myth. These people, bobanga tutegedde virus bwekwata. Dr. Mwanje, I'm developing a virus. You should lie. You should lie your head in shame. How can you develop a vaccine when you cannot produce a syringe?
But I think we should give them the benefit of doubt.
Any disease, if you don't know how you contract it, you cannot provide a cure. Politics is like a medicine. Museveni's opponents have failed, including his close friends, don't understand Museveni. Nakusomera kuwatibitize ti Museveni is okusifa.
Museveni
is a patient man. Museveni uses reverse psychology. Reverse psychology operates on 2 principles.
One,
reverse psychology nkutega ekintu noloza nti gwekifuna muganze nkifunamu.
Wow.
It requires a highly genius person.
That's how he operates.
Kakati, how does Museveni operate? How does he defeat his opponents? Because he looks far and he does not change his goal, objectives. He can change the methodology, but the objective remains the same. Kakati bano chebatamanyi nti balinga bana basajja badde banoonyesa abakuba ekipiira. Parliament enacted a law that merged the old election law that gave people freedom to canvass support with the Health Act by Parliament. But when he sits in Parliament, Museveni does not sit in the Parliament. With the writers, we shall write about Nankabirwa as a person who destroyed this party NRM. There is a new law. When Museveni is fighting his enemies, he refers them to the relevant institutions. Like he does when it causes trouble, you could avoid the other military people, you go to the court martial. When he was civilian, there must be an already existing law. Reverse psychology. That's why Museveni has problems with the police.
So how would you relate that to the
police does not have a police marshal. They only have a disciplinary committee, which is toothless. Kasita Museveni mumukwatako kakati baakola etteeka ba Bobi Wine mu parliament which curtailed freedoms of addressing rallies. Bo bennyini be balikolanga takuteeyo ne liyita teri rallies. Kakati bakye baakola ba mafia batula mu meeting yaabwe bagamba nti Museveni atukozesezza written apology handwritten like this man forced these rascals obujozi jozo obonakana yakalinye ku mutwe bwati vomit my man n'entwe yaako n'obusuma bwako bwonna
ninga SSM
ebizimbe yabimuwadde byonna byayina abadde alina kyazimba kuno n'okugamba ojja kwekya kalooli ekkongo okwo mulenzi gwe bw'otalinvaako you end up ng'oli ku mikimu gya kalooli ekkongo n'enkimi ebizimbe yabitutte. Kakati nkugamba ti ba Bobi Wine bazanyira ku Museveni naye ng'etteeka yalikola dda. Museveni is only undoing nti abantu tebabimanya.
Naye ate kuno bambadde bamukwatidde lwa kumenya ki biragiro bya Ministry of Health.
Anti wulira anti lyetteeka lyerimu. You don't address public rallies. Restrict yourself to 200 people. Kakati Bobi Wine kyataategeera nti bamafia ba Museveni nga bwe nawandiika wano bagamba we must involve ourselves in the campaign. bayina abantu babwe bagala okugenda mu parliament. Some have declared themselves presidential candidates. What country is this? Kyobula baleeta buno mbu ye lwalijja oyo talira na kutongole wano yadde obwala sibamubani bamu the most hated person in Uganda at his early age. It is very terrible to be hated straight to Uganda when you are young. Where will you go? At one time he remarked, are we going to eat snakes in China? Yes, you will eat snakes because if we create trouble here you will be forced to China or to remain in a human issue. They will put you in a human issue. That's one point. This man was violating an election law, but he didn't know that the mafia gang who wants to involve themselves in the elections were encouraging him. I told you that some of abamu kubemulaba munkungana za Bobi Wine benali ne bakwata abenali ne babambaza t-shirt nti naye nabo violating stupidly. If Museveni says tuyina COVID-19 wali, I have two medical doctors, they are telling me figures. The figures are alarming.
More than what we see.
But Diana yaziba ne mulamu we nabana abalala.
Tujja tuka wa maaso katono.
Naye COVID wali
kitufu wali.
Ate wano kyatana bakutta. Wano tana bakutta ba medics banji. In Kenya, medics are dying. They have asked the government to insure them.
Actually, they're thinking of a second lockdown.
Yes. Kenya abatta na wano wali ne babba sente emmere ne bagiteekamu ettaka ate nga abikola waabwe ng'abikola waabwe
ensonga ya Bobi Wine. Ekibuuzo ekiriwo kikino muzeeta.
He was violating a law. Look, okumanya abasajja bajinga nnyo. Look, Baby Cool needs only to adhere to COVID rules. Bobby Cool, if handled by an intelligent man
Baby
like
cool.
me, Baby Cool, you only get yours, your problem is yours. And Baby Cool has a percentage, not for Bobby Wine.
For what?
Popularity in Bavubuka. Anti-music kati yali ati play. Yes, because they don't discuss real issues. Bobby Cool yalikoze ekintu kyekimu nga muyita ba leaders 12 mu buli district n'aboogereramu. Tebamuwa sente sayina sente. When I heard that Bobby Cool had no security at home, I asked my friends in the security to provide the security for his home. Tebamubala. Busuma babbi bajje mbuwe. Ulaba somebody can think of put Don is your dog. I know it. How can you think that a man who has not worked with you for 8 years, did you invite me in COVID? Did you invite me in locusts? What type of heads do you have, these arrogant boys, that I can sit with you? I said, when Museveni told me to go to president's office, he was inciting me to kill Tumwebas. The man was killed in my political career and work under him. Rinda mbenyondo mwaso mutwe. Kakati nkubuli nkugamba. Bobi Wine awuya good day. The Americans were very tough and specific. Charge this man before court. He was charged before court. And I heard that now discipline prevails. Why do you stop? First of all, why do you preach to the road converted? When people come to see you on the way, it means that you are supporters or the Chirolo. So you look at the statistics. What percentage of Chirolo is this? Two, I told you, Bobi Wine yagenda waliwo problem omulenzi ono gye yagenda creating nga yakalogo president. The Museveni's problems rotate around 4 people inside his palace. Vivagenda banyuga wano neno mafia gang. Kakati Bobi Wine has lost. 2, when you analyze the way they organize themselves, many people, why do you think that prominent people died? These prominent people died. Why? Because Ugandans forgot about government. Abantu bali ku private sector. Kasita yatukolera omulimu mulungi ennyo ne gaza amaduuka. Abantu ne bategeera nti bw'ogala edduuka omuyindi akubanja. Ugandans will work even on Christmas.
So they woke up.
They woke up. That's why these people who were killed, most of them by spray bullets. Ate empulira bajinga. bakuba live bullets. Did the parliament provide the money to buy rubber bullets? Wajinga kabisa.
Rubber bullets weziri na nalonze nako B
ziriwa
weziri
yanti mukikole muteeka because we call it the Riot Act. That a policeman comes and reads the Riot Act. If under this section of law, if you don't move from this place in 20 minutes, I will use maximum force.
Ekyo ne IGP yakyogera na fulumya manyo n'abagamba katona fulumya sasi
gwengweduka naye bano bambi abafa bagamba nti polisi bwe nejja netukiriyalingira. That was basically a strategy. Tibesi yalumbanga gundi working places markets na for one purpose. Nabagamba nti mumbeera ku mizigo ng'omwana akaba taata we tasobola mugulira mata. What you do muvemu kumwe mukwana omukazi mugulire omwana amata mwebake relocate. Kakati the strategy is if Ugandans who are working in these working places see that the government cannot contain the rioters, they will join the rioters to overthrow a weak government. This is strategy. That's why they take it. 3 intelligence stakeholder. I know Besigye. Look at the character of Besigye. Whenever there is a big function in Uganda, Besigye finds the excuses to stage strikes.
Yes.
Besigye, President Museveni yasweyalinga baali President bamugambye Entebbe nti Kenya Airways eganye okuleeta Besigye. N'abaga nti lwaki? Nti waliwo emikolo wano. Museveni n'abagamba we fought for freedom. That Uganda has remained in Kenya because we have functions here. Let's bring Besigye on. Kenyans allow the Kenyan Airways to bring Besigye. Arrive at the airport, drive home. Besigye violated Museveni's hospitality. Yalemera kubayita ababiri. Besigye's group penetrated bakuba emmotoka z'abakulembeze. Museveni abaali Kololo naye ndaba oyo omukyala. Mukyala bwe babaletanga mu State House ne bayigizanga political science. Akero n'atwala akapapula wa president. Your Excellency, shift the luncheon from Entebbe to International Conference Center. Nategeera ono awedde. That Besigye can force Museveni, the president of Uganda. All of the cards have been distributed. What's the change? Of which are in control? Museveni drove to Entebbe. Besigye motoka yazikuba amayinza. I was summoned by a Nigerian court to defend the head of their ESO why they allowed their president to come to Uganda. Lwakiti yababuulira nti Uganda ejja kuba kolaki?
Ejja kuba violent. Ne
tufuna Chogamu. They fought to Chogamu. The side kusendeza Chogamu. The same mafia ganga yazibba. The same group yabba sente. Bali yanga mputa buli kamba kamba. And they think they can suffocate others, intelligent people like me. I kill you. Kakati nga bakugamba nti olwaleero Commonwealth against Canada budgeted South Africa. At one time Museveni told the then Secretary General Mackinnon, if you shift Commonwealth to another country, I will sue you and you pay the costs. We have invested here heavily. That's the basic. Era oyo Mackinnon arriving at Entebbe a few days before the Queen is arriving. Yagenda okulaba ng'oluguudo balukoze bubi ng'amayinja gakuba emmotoka n'abaga nti Queen tajja kujja. Ababbi abaali mu works ne bakwatirawo yengeni y'abagonza. I fought for him, he's back, he doesn't pick my phone. Bagonza does not pick my phone. I fought for him. Bamukwata agenda Nantebe to make it dramatic as they do to humiliate you. One day you pay heavy price. Besigye ne tufuna an international parliamentary conference Kadaga yagireta abantu 10,000. Besigye yajja mu kibuga akole mayhem.
Eni aliwo makogwe.
Bamukwata bukwasi, his car was towed. Ngali mu kibuga era zekola mayhem. President Museveni was invited to make a key address in Kenya. Besigye picked an excuse. Uyu mutabani we namukuba namufuiti amufuyidde Besigye n'agenda Kenya. We arrived in Kenya a day before. Nga TV za Kenya zonna ziriko Museveni kuisha. Omanye ebintu ebivundi.
What is the motive behind that?
He does not want to give Museveni. Besigye is carrying a personal vendetta against Museveni.
Is Bobby Wine becoming a replica of that?
President bwatuuka mu conference, a hired fool stood up. Your Excellency, do you think you have the moral authority to address this August conference when one of your leading opposition leader is in Nairobi, came here as a blind man? Abantu bamulagira fuluma, get out. President yabagamba nti if that man wants to know about Uganda, let him stay here. Museveni addressed these people for 3 hours, non-interpreted, on power, energy. Well, it was a conference for executives of people involved in it. Basically, Museveni bambuza, will you have time to go and visit Besigye in the hospital? Museveni yabagamba. He decided to come to Nairobi. We have hospitals in Uganda. I have not that time.
Wow. Very bright.
Ekitegeeza singa oyina intelligence kakati lwaki bakoze strike. Then we have new important representatives in Uganda.
Oyogera kwene yabaddewo. Nekambuzi.
The British High Commissioner, we have a new British High Commissioner, we have a new American ambassador.
Mzee Tamale,
they had to stage it.
Kambuzeemu. Omwaka ogwedde we bakwatira 2018. We bakwatira Bobby Wine mu Arua. Balaba ekyaliwo. Almost countrywide waliwo okwekalakaza. Kati kyembuuza kino ekyabadde eruuka ab'ebyokwenda tebakibanize nti banakwata Bobby Wine, there's going to be another riot.
Lwakuba tebabibabuulira bagende ne bawayiriza omu ku bapolitician beeruwuukya nti yakikoze olusuku talina n'ennyumba teriyo.
Awe tuli kati saawa zino.
Anti kankubuulire nakugenda nti Museveni uses reverse psychology. Museveni lures his enemies to come out of their snake, to come out. You lure the snakes to come out of the kuba kakati abatestinze n'amanya muzito waki kati abategedde muzito waki yabategedde kubanga you don't know. Nze nagamba nti if I get a chance maybe in the future government to be in education, political science, logic
must be a must.
Propaganda must be a must. If we don't have those elements, first of all, let me tell you, what is a state? People don't understand the state. A state does not negotiate. A state was given coercive forces. Kugolola tumba. That's what the Bagandas say. A state cannot negotiate with the Ugandan.
Is Bob Wine dealing with the state?
Yeah, anti-law. Ate mu ICC babalimbira bwerere. ICC cannot take a policeman who is enforcing the law. Nekigamba ne Kayihura. Nti ni Kenya eyali akulya Inspector General Police General Ali baga nimutwale Hague. As long as he was doing his work enforcing the law tatwalibwa Hague. Abapolisi bamukba Museveni mbatisa tebasoma international relations. ICC cannot touch on a person who is enforcing the law. Ekyo Tumukunde yali akimanyi. Tumukunde bagamba iso okutta babbi yagala. Yaga give me an instrument that will insulate me in the future. Kayanja akuba gafula. One udenga government evudde ko bakwata Kayanja. One udenga government evudde ke bakwata yo command of land forces. Yakuba rubirirwa mumbe. Abantu bana bashayinzawe ye yavayo mu nashambulia gwe. Because of his limited knowledge. That's why omuntu yabadde ambuuza naye gwe lwaki tobikola ebyo bana bakalakala ne mu nimugamu educated. Have been shaped by future nalaba government ya mine ne ya UPC nabano bajja kugenda bana bajoga abantu bebasinga akabinja ko kamafia ganga ke kasinga abanubya amaanyi ke kasinga abakyoli amaanyi and the international tebalina gye balaga wano bali waduka akati bali gundi wano they are hostages.
After that ebigambo byayogerwa muzeyitama
state tezanyirwako. If there emerges a person who is more powerful than a state, then the state has seized it. Siringa febo ewaka
omuntu omu bwabera nga alina
neba group
nga gasinga ga state
nga you flout state rules kati ebe ewambiddwa kuba state must control its borders, a state must be a monopoly on violence, a state must establish law and order. Batugamba nga nti omwana tasitama ku mmere nga taata we waali naye tadoba olulagala bwe lwakubanga tadoba nga tusitamako naye eddeko ogisitameko eya mirundi entebe ye yali emu nemmeeza nga yaliira ku mmeeza yekka akusange ng'ogituddemu okwate ku mikalabanda gye. Yes, that's a state. Kakati mu olwokuba temutegeera state mulowooza nti state eno bwesekamba buuli mwe temutegeera nabaga nti ekyuma once a state is threatened ate nuclear weapons zaki nuclear weapons countries are allowed to use nuclear weapons
olinga kakatiriza ebigambo bya minister wa security yagambye nti amagye gakkirizibwa okuta.
He's honest. If I read the Riot Act and you don't go, have you ever seen Riot police escorting Bagole? Yes. Once you see the Riot police, once you see military police, in the political logic they tell you, once you see the military on the street, the situation has gone beyond the logic. Run away.
So police have
once you see military police.
To what extent is the military police supposed to come out?
Anti-irasirizo y'eggwanga. Police bakwata na bugu. Aba traffic tebalina mundu mbakuba empi. Kati once you see the military patrolling the streets, martial law, kati muli kumateeka ka ntalo.
Kufana kuona.
Akatali declared. A sensible man run away. Kakati bano aba Uganda ekibi kyabwe president kyalina okuadressing. Ti abasajja bano baagala okukola. Nalebye bino abamonita bye bafuba ebyobusiru. He did this to incite the population. Are people dying for the first time? Why you have not investigated all of this?
But does it make sense? Okulaba nti about 45 people baffled in the name of fighting COVID.
Let me tell you.
Mzee Tamale, how do you explain that?
Kankubuli mutemanyi military science. A commander can sacrifice 3,000 soldiers to retrieve the bodies of 4 bodies. Why? It's an assurance to the soldiers that even if I die, eruweereeyo abo basale bagenda ne batega amagye g'oboti baalinga 7 nga batambula bajja babagoba kandi bakola kati ne bayingira munda ate ne badda emabega bannaabo ne bagenda kakati abajasi b'oboti bwe batuuka waaliwo akasaawo nabo ne baddaawo ne barestinga ne babakuba nga 7 ndowooza kwawonako ebyo 2 days later ogole yayungula abalala nga 10,000 to retrieve their bodies. That's military.
Wow.
Kakati gwe kyenkubuuza, are we dying for the first time?
Of course.
10 Baganda boys who were trying to prevent Museveni to okumukuba amayinja egundi were killed by unknown gunmen. 10 at Kasubi. And the shameless Mengo leaders went to Museveni and got money. Have they ever organized a requiem mass for these boys? Sebagala Wizimabiche went to UNEB. A person whose wife has never been pregnant takes you to a hospital ward to get a baby and you quarrel with the doctors. My wife has delivered. Sebagala confessed, I never went to school. 10 Baganda boys died. Sebagala defied the traffic rules. Emotoka ya lole ne basabalire busa again. How many died? 10 Baganda boys mugambo mbu abaganda basinga abasoga amagezi sikirabangako kubanga abaganda 10 abali beera oluguudo nga bava Buganda bayita mabira batuuke ejjinja kuba besi yagenda jinja the following day they were no basoga
bali mukwera luguudo
tewali basoga baveeri musinkane mabira emmotoka yabasaabala yatta 10 beera luguudo besiyirwa n'agenda mu ekya kuba tewaliwo kapande kalaga kiri abakola.
So chogeza ogamba nti twebeereremu.
Yes, this is the first thing I did. Rescue mission. America emala kunoonya basitizeni baayo. Nagenda kukima mwana wange ne mujjayo. Namugalira mu gate yasiba wakanga nkoko. Oyo wa Bobi Wine? Gwe nasooka okujjayo.
Mukube kalakasa kuno.
Kuba bayinza mumuforcinga into ebyobusiru ebyo. Netubeera haunted n'omuzimu omusiru. kakati state mbadde nkubuulira negamba nti omusajja omusitadinganga waliwo omusajja akwata mukazi we n'omusajja n'amukubira essimu akubye nti ebyo biwedde naye eriyo omusajja ng'omukazi tadda kakati mutunuulire nabagamba nti ekyuma bwe kigaaya amayinja osibira ku bulo kyembagaye temanyi Museveni ekyuma kisibye tinyefunza ku mpingu ekyuma nekisiba tumukunde ku mpingu osibira ku Bobi Wine omuganda akugamba bwenzijukira Sematimba n'ekikwabanga abaali abaziranga lwabalya dda leero nga nzeerulire kawaneerire n'enywere nabulagala ti oba Sematimba n'ekikwabanga abaali abazira olumbe lwabalya dda ate nze Bobi Wine tinyefunza gwamulabako walabako tinyefunza oli mwana muto tinyefunza yasiba Northern Uganda emyezi eki nakuba baminisita embooko yabaleeta mu helikopota ne bamubuuza wakubye baaki nti mu helikopota mulimu empingu bakwate pilot yakuba obukongovu ne bajja baavula mu kooti tinyefunza ngaogenda esemba buno helicopters were hovering over his convoy ekyuma kimunywedde tumukunde lwakuba bamawulire emikwano gye tebasobola mukubanga ali katebe ali bwati tumukunde kamando in 3 days bali bamumaze kyuma kigaya amayinja.
But is that what we want for a country? Oyinga gamba they will not be a peaceful transfer of power. Bagondera amateeka.
Kubanze mbagamba nti politics wa mugumuzanyi nze singa nagenda mu opposition. The day we go to the opposition, it will be a change in the opposition.
Why can't you step in?
Bubulenzi buno obubba tebatukwata ku power.
Ene tuveeyo mzee Tamale.
You don't need kuba byonna bensi yewoko tuwaka yamukolako. Bannayuganda tebabiri.
So linga agamba kati whoever is coming as opposition must think beyond basic.
We Bobi Wine ofunye n'omukisa. People are coming. On their own. Tell them, yes, I've seen you. But because of COVID-19, go home. Kakati njagala nkubuli obutategeera bwabwe. Bobi Wine wamulabye ko ng'agenda okubagiza abafudde. Abaana baabwe nekyabaddeyo. Abali malwali agenda bajanja.
Aina yataddewo okusaba okwenjawulo.
Ate kusaba ki?
Abamu bamutuukirire yadde akoze press conference.
Nawandika akatabo kange kano. Nakonzikirize nkasomenga gundi bwenkusabye gundi wali. Akatabo kano nakawandiika kakadde.
Bakayita batya?
What divides the state and the religion. I address this issue where I'm seeing religious leaders and the tradition, the excited Mayega meandering into what he doesn't know. Religious leaders, I wrote about a book to guide them. I say, where religious leaders lead the changes, not every religious leader can lead the changes, can speak and people listen to him. Their
opinion leaders.
Mulamuzi n'ababuuza nti church nti
Mzee Tamale.
Gw'oli akazimba ayogera.
Yavuddeyo n'avumirira ekyabaddewo.
Nze mu Christianity ab'engulu yonna sibamanyi. Luwalira mu respectinga yajja mu hambo n'atuula demolition n'agenda.
Wano mu Ndeeba.
Mu Catholic Church I respect Lwanga. Ziwa. Naye amaganduula agamu gasigalamu bwewuuba ng'obwaffe ate nabo buli emmere.
Nabo bali.
N'obwaffe gye tubulya. Kati religious leader nabagamba ti where religious leaders lead change. Cardinal Sin was a son of immigrant parents who settled in the Philippines in the 40s. In spite of his foreign ancestry, however, Sin joined a seminary and later was ordained cardinal. By the time Sin became cardinal and Archbishop of Manila, Philippines, was under dictator Ferdinand Marcos. This was a time when the Cold War was coming to an end and the importance of dictators like Mobutu and Marcos to America was declining. The United States had established military bases in the Philippines. The Philippines were opposed to turning their country into a garrison. However, the American strategists wanted to maintain Marcos in power in spite of questionable democratic credentials. With the democratic wave of the early 80s, Marcos became a victim. He lost the massive financial support from USA government. The opposition under Aquino was weak and fragmented. Aquino was forced into exile in USA. However, all of the opposition groups got united under Cardinal Sin, determined to overthrow Marcos. Marcos was forced to make reforms and to allow Aquino return to the Philippines. He was assassinated at Manila International Airport. His assassination triggered the spark of a massive mass reaction similar to the recent Arab revolutions witnessed recently. Marcos was besieged in the State House and soldiers joined the masses. His Air Force pilots bombed his State House compound, was saved by American Marines who whisked him from Manila to USA. However, he used massive financial resources. The popularity of Cardinal Sin soured for fighting, for uniting the opposition and the people against Marcos. So, Cardinal Sin yatazalibwa mu Philippines. Bakati bebakyala bukyazi. Cardinal Sin nafuna amanyi, the most powerful cardinal, beba nsubuga, beba kabuma, abatalyanga ssente, abatalyanga.
So bebayinza okuba 1000 ne boogera abantu ne bawulira.
Musigaliza luwalira nakundi oli. Kakati nkugamba nti the popularity of Cardinal Sin soured. However, when the Philippines decided to vote General Ramos and Joseph Estrada, the former commander and the gambler, under Marcos, Sin wanted to dictate to them who to vote. They rejected and opposed him strongly. The masses overwhelmingly voted Ramos and Joseph Estrada. Yabayamba okujjako Marcos. Naye bwe yayagala ate abafuge bamugamba ddayo mu ekereziya. Leave us alone. A religious leader has limits.
Aina wakumambia obufuzi.
A religious leader, all those organized groups must be arbiters, referees. You cannot condemn. Have you looked at the law? Nenkugamba. Also in Latin America, the old generation of bishops decided to compromise with the Latin American dictators for fear that the removal would surrender Latin America to the communists. Since the governments were financed by America, the opposition groups were getting funds from the communists. Like in the Philippines example above, the people refused to accept the viceroy, and as it is that the church in Latin America split into two groups. The younger priests developed what came to be known as liberationist theology. Abantu bagana mu Latin America, the Catholic Church is split into two. Bonga bagamba nti bwe tujjako ba dictators. Communists bagenda kuwamba government. But even today, because the churches dined with the dictators, abalokole badidde Latin America. So kakati abayamba Catholic Church to survive, bali bearing from the Catholic Church, ne batekawo kye bayita liberation theology.
So mzee Tamalinga gamba nti saawa zino
ono papa yolebuland father LCD height.
Olinga gamba abakulu benzikiriza mu kiseera kino, they cannot say any word.
Tebasobola anti balemeddwa ensonga. Era nkugamba wano ne nkugamba nti bannaddiini abo nabo balina ensonga zaabwe. Nakugamba nti bannaddiini balina ensonga zaabwe. Naye gavumenti tebayingirira. The religious leaders want to intervene. You should look at the problem impartially. What is causing trouble? What is causing trouble is that people have refused to adhere to the law. Chonyonyola. Abaganda batugamba never decide a case before involving your daughter without listening to Kalenzi.
How much influence do they have here in you?
Tebayina. Is exaggerated. Mengo is exaggerated.
So abakulembeze b'ennono n'abenzikiriza mu kiseera kino twali bayinza kukola.
Buganda Land Board egoba abantu mu ttaka Kiwalabe mali n'afumula abantu mu ttaka. Ono yafera abantu bonna n'agenda n'ayola ssente nga masere nkube gakuba. Do they have credibility? Is like your newspapers? Is there a newspaper that circulates 2,000 copies a day? More popular than
Kasoke tuve ku nsonga ya riot katudde ku nsonga ya campaign mzee Tamale akadde katutwaliriza.
Njagala nkubuulire.
Antusigaze dakiika nga 10 mzee Tamale. Ate n'ensonga nkulu.
Bannaddiini bano mbagamba. Nammwe muyina ebizibu byammwe. Naye gavumenti tebayingirira. Bishop bamuwoze baamukuba ebusoga. Ne bamupira mu kyaki. Nga tebagala afuuka kibisho. Did the government come and condemn? It was a matter, a church matter. Bishop Sebuhinji bamutega empiso.
Naye tolina banafuya nnyo to that extent. They still have powers.
The Catholic Bishop of Kabale, Heriman, bamukubira mu ekereziya nga yamba RPF.
weekend campaign zazzemu abali bagamba nti campaigns baziholtinze nga baagala kulaga solidarity kuba amateeka gagamba nti oli bw'aba akoseddwa kitegeeza naawe kiba kikwatako. Abamu ku abo abaali bayimiriza kampeni zaabwe mwalimu Mugisha Muntu n'abalala. Weekend campaign zigenze mu maaso. Mugisha Muntu yavuddeyo n'ayogera ku kintu kya coalition ne General Henry Tumukunde. Naye kati twebuuza mu kaseera kano nga tutambuza ku weeks kati 3 eza campaigns muzeeyi Tamale coalition ekyasobola okubeerawo.
Let me tell you how some of these people bamanyi ekigenda mu maaso.
Ba candidates
Bobi Wine yalinga omwana gwe batuuzizza ku ntebe eriko Bobi.
Bw'avaawo kyabika.
Two, if Bobi Wine is arrested and he is stopped, you hold it, then you recognizing a Bobi Wine that is your de facto leader without negotiations. Bobi Wine does not need to negotiate with them. The few days on the campaign trail has exposed them. Abaina na abatayina. Yes, it's like a vomiting.
So
the moment you vomit, people will know.
There is need for coalition.
Two, when do we make a coalition? A coalition is made when you add up the votes divided between the candidates in the previous election, nemukizuula nga mwali mukuba omusajja ono. That's why.
Singa bagatawuli wa 2016.
Yes, bayina bumawuka 0-0-0-0. Kitegeeza your problem is not coalition. Two, can they form a unified campaign strategy? Tekisoboka. Bali tribalistic. Tebayina national issues. I admire one person. Mweyo group yaabwe. Mugisha Muntu. And by joining them, he is killing his chances. Mugisha Muntu is highly respected.
Is respected Neta ina bawagizi.
Yaladuwa yalitamanyidwa mu Nigeria. Yaladuwa yalitamanyidwa. Museveni yakwasa bano barelative be bano abamulwanyisa.
Ayinza kikwasa Mugisha Muntu.
A president cannot surrender power to a hostile group, even if they are his close relatives who are undermining government programs. Abakuba balo singa fe bakuba bakosa nakolema ne yobuba ne yobu akuba bakosa mwete mubba. President bamutunze mirundi emeka. This is what in Kalanga where you could go ngoteka emitwalo gya $10 n'omulaba ekiro. Museveni is solid. Nakalema is saying it is we have a monopoly to sell Museveni, not to you. That's why I don't respect Nakalema. Yes. Kakati nze nkugamba nti n'abaana bw'abaana bo batunuulira olonda mu baganda bo b'omusika. Museveni is interested in himself survival. Katonda amwadde missions, amwadde visions. Alabe Gaddafi, alabe ku Mugabe. Who calls Mugabe trouble? Who calls his family? Mugabe, Comrade Mugabe kyokola tebamusiba bali banne. Naye omuko yali yefudde ekitalo ng'ali egindi eri. Ng'omukaali egindi eri yali yefudde ekitalo. Ne bamuyoola bamutwala mu nkambi ne bamusiyaga n'omusiyaga ejjoko ne limuggwamu. Yagamba mbu dino agamba omusajja yakube emundu nga Mugabe ali mu kkomera. Do you know that we can demote you? Bakakeera ku makya ne bakayoola ne bakatwala ku pick up.
Last week
wagamba Mugabe mu Barracks Katonda ya sitaani yakimanyi.
Last week wagamba nti bakandisa bambajja out.
They cannot unite because they are factional. Tujja kutta abanyankole tuli bakomya Katonga.
Baina meeting gye batula mu week ewedde. Nobody yagambye there should be something coming up. They can unite
for one thing, to share European money. Kuba abazungu tebalina sente COVID yazibamalako. Kati Bungereza yataddewo policy. We review country to country. Bakumme nga Uganda bajja Jim Massaid. Kubanga tebalina. You get an excuse. Tebalina sente abazungu. European Union is also in a crisis. Trump abalese bali isolated. So the good sente tewali. Ugandans can only unite politicians. We don't have issues that cut across.
That can unite us.
Tunoli ya campaign ya Museveni. Abekalamuja bye bagala Buganda bye yagala.
Hapana.
Abeteso bye bagala bye bagala. Ati nze nsanyuka. Nti buli gyagenda bambulira bye nayogera. Nawandika akatabo kankali kaka. Akatabo kana nakawandika ngandaka tebigenda okuba Museveni mu kalu.
Factors that will affect Museveni 2021 polls.
Yes, nakawandika ddi.
Nga January 22 2020 at my home in Kabalagala.
Yes.
Completed at
Mujango okole ku gundi. Ebyammwe buli wabeerawo akantu ono n'atumayo wabeerayo akakiiko n'asindika n'akabagemere n'akasindika mu kyamaani w'ababbi mafiya gamba buli wamu wonna basindika buli wamu nkola
lwaki Besigye asirise nnyo mu campaign zo?
No, Besigye omugagga akugamba ti Besigye neewulirirako ndisende nsalawo nzibe Baby Wise yagamba when I saw Baby Wine in Arua I had to hide under my desk. Why? I identified Bobby Wine, groomed him, watered him, nurtured him. Bobby Wine yayigire ku musajja oyo engeri gyali nnyo akalenzi n'akalinye entwe yonna ejjudde obujozi
akalenzi ako kalemeddeko musajja.
Yes, yakalinye n'akawandisira goli nyinza n'ogikuba niti bwekaddamu okukwata ku pologulamu zange genda kakuba gundi liko videos bwe kasula mu Kampala kajja kuyita mugenda Kongo kwekyankima I'm telling you. Kakati nkugamba nti Besigye ye ono yamumma ssente era Bobi Wine bw'aba alowooza tijja kudduka ne ssente z'omusajja bilioni 5.8 nga kano yakalinye entwe ni kanewako nakali nabulinye entwe naye jango buutu n'abuboloolo n'abujjako n'ebizimbe byabwe nti Bobi Wine ejja kudduka ne ssente z'omusajja yabagambye am the king
of Bobi Wine mwalimu
yamubba am the king of the region
so koleka mzee Tamale genda mpola ne Bobi Wine mwalimu gundi mudi
Bobi Wine yamuwa bilioni 5.8 n'adduka naddamu kumuyimbira mbu kyali kiwa kingi wa region mbu kyali kiwani nti wasiba kiwani ku ssente z'omusajja. You see, these people don't know how mafias operate. Mafias operate like we abalogo. A mafia, a non-state actor like Al-Qaeda tuyinza jibba n'olya ssente zaayo terina police terina embassies teri protect this money is not protect ekutta busi era I can confidently tell you abasiraamu be batanga wano balya ssente za Al-Qaeda. Al-Qaeda teyinza kuleka kubanga bati balina police tebalina ki n'abalogo bakugamba abaziba bakugamba abo bamafia kye balina okumanya abaziba bakugamba ti okatere mandwa nti engineers akayuka watera mandwa nti engineers akayuka libakalijo bwokuba emandwa nolowooza nti ogipamiza mu ngoye n'oseka emandwa tekugwa mafia yepanka ku mandwa profesa mwepanka ku mandwa okatera mandwa nti nyinyeseza akayoka libakalijo emandwa bwesituka ku ttaka yino bakubale ne fellowship n'ekijjawo
nga tumaliriza buli presidential candidate avuddeyo capitalizing ku weaknesses za regime Nobert Mao nja kunokola yemu yokka Nobert Mao yagambye nti agenda compensatinga abo bonna abazirwanako kituufu eri abazirwanako eruweero abamu tebasasulwanga eriyo bawandiisanga
nti ani abadde azibba the president created
zibadde zivaayo
bayina bugundi mu kibiina kyabwe ekyenali mumanyize ndi wa Museveni walonda byeko ne basi
hapana
inako mzee na kadi yenale I did not get it deliberately. Ndi Museveni he moves in the morning I go in the afternoon. I have no future with these people. Ile mwingine kunonya kalunya kake kakati nkugamba what they are discussing present strategy emulema which is overlooking. Museveni fears to expose the thieves. The public will pounce on them.
Nenga bamanyi.
Nti mwabayina veterans representative kwena alem. Muhwezi represents egundi.
Veterans.
Ono lwamira makola ki. The president created, you see.
So mukasera kantumandi badde yaka.
And these people will answer immediately. Those who, you see, Mao don't talk about rubbish. We have a veterans association. The widows will come up immediately. They okwogerera Museveni baagala money. How much money? That's why I was annoyed with this group. That we paid the people to take petitions to parliament. We didn't have NRM supporters who could do it. Namkwanya, you embarrassing the government. Ebyo tebyogerwa. tebabyogera nti twagula n'abantu batwalire petition mu parliament Museveni abawe ssente oba oweebuula Museveni nti omusajja yabulwa n'abamutwalira petition nti Mirundi abuliddwa abamuyemerera nti Dokita Kiseka gavumenti emuyambye yalwadde n'abula n'emmotoka emujja mu ddwali nga nze nina 3 gwe Kiseka tulina na mikwano gye kujja mu gundi tulina na mikwano nga nze buli gundi ejja edition muzeyi wava muno nga leeta yozo oyinayo nkuwe naawe obugemu bweyagale ate nzijjawo wava muno yampita nanga nti waliwo eyazze leeta yozo oleetayo naawe obugemu naawe kyakalemu
muzeyi Tamale weewaawo
the government ekigiriko ekibi nti ono omulenzi addire embwa ageneripemu. Did I work with you during the local
system? Nekino tekigenda mukubisa kalulu
ani
President Museveni
muyambye nnyo
ngambe kyokubanga
era ababbi bagamba
buli candidate a capitalizing of weaknesses.
Yes, I know ku capital, but what you are saying nabagamba nti you don't have a fundamental shift from what Museveni says. What you are saying, we call it political hygiene. And when you look at me as a political science, I will tell you, any government, any institution that remains in power for a long time develops what we call political inertia. You don't kill the system, killing it. Kakati, bw'oyogera ku ba veterans nga nkugamba, we have a veterans association.
But it's not working.
Anti ekyo kirala naye president yakiteekawo. Bw'oga nti amasomero ga UPE tegakola, ye yagateekawo. Misused by you.
Weewaawo tetugenda kubanga tusukkawo awo njagala okakasa nti obadde mulabi mulungi nnyo
naye bamafia
atandikidde era nga njagala kubanga tubeerekereza naye nga ekigambo kye njagala okubalekera olunaku olwaleero
bamafia baleete ssente zange sokuwulire. The mafias must surrender my adequate compensation. They know. I sent them a message where they should put this money. Adequate. Two, if this cowboy continues undermining my programs, since mulagiro okubba, you will send my demand in Kamwenge.
Weewaawo amanya nze Simon Chris Makanga mubadde balayi balungi mpaka olwokubya oluddako sharp talk lwejja okubanga ekomawo mubeere bulungi mweraba. Ebirowoozo by'owulidde mu puroguramu eno si bya STV abakozi baayo oba n'abagiddukanya wabula bya muntu ssekinnoomu. STV erungamizibwa ekitongole kya Uganda Communications Commission.